Hey everybody, CalebCast number 59 for Wednesday, May 5th, 2010. Couple of things. First of all, when I walked out of work today, first day this year that, like, when you feel the breeze blow in your face, it's hot like a hairdryer in your face, as Bono put it. And that was the first time that, to me, that's happened, like where it's, really uncomfortably warm. So we got up into the 90s today, 90 degrees. And man, it's got me looking forward to summer. Not that I like the hot temperatures, but man, I'm looking forward to swimming and being outside and all kinds of fun stuff during the summer. Secondly, today is May the 5th, so we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. And yesterday was May the 4th, which, because of the word pun, is often called Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. It's kind of a funny joke. So today I thought I would combine those and come up with a funny joke that says you could celebrate May the 4th and May the 5th and make some Chewbacca-mole, like combining Chewbacca and guacamole, made with avocado and yak hair, because I always think of Chewbacca's costume as being made of yak hair. And David Cook commented back that you could also make Princess 7 Leia dip. Another ingenious pun. So I thought those were funny. Nobody else seemed to catch on with the theme. I guess it wasn't funny enough for anybody to grab hold of. Anyways, here's what I wanted to say today on the CalebCast. You know how people often give measurements in terms of other things? Like rather than saying, it's that's 100 yards long, they'll say it's the length of one football field. Or, something is 300 yards. It's the length of 3 football fields, which is not necessarily right because you have to add 10 yards for each end zone anyways. And then when something is tall, they'll say, it's 10 stories tall. What I want to know is, who are these people that are going up in buildings so often that they can tell the difference exactly between, the 13th floor and the 16th floor? Like, you can look out the window and say, oh, we're on the 16th floor. It's so much higher up here than the 13th floor. I mean, who does that? I think it's not a very good reference or allegory to say, oh, it's 15 stories tall. And so what I would propose is, rather than say it's as tall as such and such a building, which may or may not be equivalent, because normally stories are 10 feet tall, and so 100 feet that's normally 10 stories tall. But that's not necessarily true, depending on what building you're in. It could be 12 feet between floors or 14 feet between floors. It could vary pretty widely. So what I'm proposing is, next time you need to know how high something is, if you want to compare it to something which most people would recognize, compare it to how long it would take something to drop from there and hit the floor. So in other words, if that building is 10 stories high, we'll say, that would take something 2.5 seconds to drop, which is actually how long it would take something to drop. That's all. Because I can associate that more with the time, say like 1, 2. Oh wow, however far it would fall during that time. That makes more sense to me. So I've put together a few numbers that you can remember. If something is 1 story tall, it takes about 3/4 of a second to fall 10 feet. If something is 20 stories tall, 20 feet tall, it takes about 1 3/4 seconds. So you can remember these numbers pretty easily. I don't know. It may be more difficult for you. 10 stories, 100 feet tall is 2.5 seconds, and 50 stories is about 5.5 seconds. So to me, thinking 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, that is more useful than saying something is 50 stories tall. I don't know. What do you think? Is that a good idea? To say something, how tall it is based on how long it would take a rock or something to fall from that distance. Obviously, we're not accounting for air resistance or something like that. But I just think that's more helpful than knowing that something is 20 stories tall or 14 stories tall. We can all do the conversion to divide by, or to multiply by 10 to get feet. That's not helpful to say 14 stories. Oh, 14 stories? Well, let's see. Oh, that's 140 feet. That's not, 14 stories, that's not helpful. Time, that's what's important. Let me know in the comments.